The calculator screen has icon buttons at the bottom of the calculator window where we can add cars, delete cars, print, etc. Remember that you need a detailed logbook showing mileage figures to qualify for a travel claim. No logbook showing detailed mileage means no claim. The first thing we ask for is whether we've kept a record of expenses. This refers to a record of expenses like fuel and oil, maintenance, insurance, etc., as listed in the bottom left section of this calculator. We'll have a look at a case where records of expenses are kept in a minute, but let's first examine the very simple case in front of us where we're going to lodge a claim against an allowance received for one car using SARS's cents per kilometre tables. We must enter the start and end dates for the use of this car. WinTax will indicate how many days in the year we used this car. We must enter the code 3701 travel allowance amount we received for this car, and we must enter the cost price which was on the windscreen when we bought it. We also enter the mileage figures from our logbook. In this case, the car was brand new on 1st of March 2018 and the start mileage was 0. The calculator will show our deduction claim. The thing to remember here is that SARS will only give you a claim for business distance travelled. SARS will not give you 1 cent for private mileage. The fixed cost fuel and maintenance costs per kilometre are built into WinTax 2019, so the deduction claim is calculated and displayed for us. If the allowance was received only for part of the year, let's say up to 31st of August, we can see that although the cents per kilometres for fuel and maintenance are the same, the fixed cost has been affected by the 184-day partial period. Obviously, the more expensive the car, the bigger will be our claim, but our claim cannot be more than the allowance we received. Let's have a look at the tables released in the Budget Pocket Guide. This is the table issued by SARS in the budget of February 2018, showing the cents per kilometre rates for different car values. The amounts in this table have been programmed into WinTax. Before we move on to different cases, let's have a look at some other options on the calculator. We can enter the car's registration number up here, and we can ask the calculator to exclude or include fuel and maintenance costs in the claim. The extra detail button down here will allow us to enter more info on this car. As WinTax will carry over much of the data for cars from year to year, the value at the year start will be useful for keeping track of the depreciated value when claiming wear and tear depreciation, if you use the option to claim a portion of expenses kept. Now, if we select that we actually kept a list of running expenses, then the fields for expenses are now active, allowing us to enter amounts here. If you never received an allowance and want to claim motoring expenses, then this is the only claim option to you. Let's look at this option. Note that you may only claim either wear and tear or lease payments, not both. Okay, we have entered expenses totaling 120,000 Rand. Now, SARS is only going to allow us to claim the portion of these expenses according to the mileage we did on business distance. Once again, SARS will not give us back anything we spent on private distance. Since the mileage figures from the logbook show that we did 20% of total mileage on business, our claim is 20% of the 120,000 Rand expenses. An interesting point here is that the allowance amount and the car value make no difference in this calculation for a claim against expenses. In fact, if this was a self-employed or commission-only taxpayer who never received an allowance, then there would be no allowance received amount here anyway. The car value makes no difference to the claim either, as our claim amount is based purely on our expenses incurred. Note that if you do enter any amount for allowance received in a case like this, then WinTax will disallow the claim under code 4015. There could be an exception to this. The cents per kilometre tables we looked at earlier showed a car cost cap of 595,000 Rand. And any car more expensive than 595,000 Rand will receive the same cents per kilometre claim amounts as a 595,000 Rand car. In the option we're looking at now, if we were claiming actual expenses for a car costing over 595,000 Rand, then SARS may moderate our claim.